Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar with Xpertdoc and XMedius. We will cover the topic of secure file exchange. Our speakers today are Eric Batangan, our channel manager at Xpertdoc, and Philip Vera, the director of business development for the SENDSECURE product at XMedius. And I will turn over the webinar now to Eric. Please keep your questions to the end of the session. We'll have a quick Q&A then. You can either raise your hand or send questions to the chat window, and we'll monitor that throughout the WebEx. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. As Pam said, my name is Eric Batangan, channel manager here at Xpertdoc, and we're very pleased to welcome XMedius and Philip to join us today. Hi, Philip. How are you today?
Hey, thanks, Eric. Looking forward to today's session.
Yes, we are. So what we're going to cover today is really the Xpertdoc and XMedius partnership, some of the challenges in secure file exchange, top use cases, and we'll end it off with a live demonstration followed by questions. So just to set the stage for those who are not completely familiar with Xpertdoc, Xpertdoc and our customer communication management solution at a high level will help you expand how you engage your customers, help quickly deliver an accurate, consistent, and compliant document to all your channels, help you engage your customers with personal and relevant communications, promoting a positive experience and making it easy to do business with you, ultimately developing a positive connection with your company and brand. Now, we do those things by working in conjunction with enterprise core systems to quickly bring personalization capabilities, moving towards solutions that can bring value across the entire customer journey, extending and enhancing systems you have in place today, and meeting the customer communication and customer experiences challenges of tomorrow. So Xpertdoc does all the heavy lifting, and we bring value across the entire customer journey with inbound communications from your customer, when creating documents, and outbound communication. With inbound communications, we allow your customers to self-service using our smart form technology for intelligent data capture that can directly populate your core systems, reduce manual intervention, error-prone data capture. These are web deployable anywhere, even in applications like CRM. Some use cases for this technology would be in new employee or new customer onboarding, really any application where data collection is a bottleneck and error-prone. Simplify with a single entry point for accurate data the first time, every time. Now that you've collected all this info, how do you access it? Well, our word-based template, our word-based template designer gives you the ability to create templates that leverage data from any core system and even a combination of core systems. At a template level, you can include conditional logic to have a dynamic template that is truly data-driven. And to create your document, you can do so from a single click. When it comes to delivery, we understand when a document is created, it doesn't end there. A powerful CCM solution makes it easy to distribute and kick off any process or action needed, like send the document to different channels in different formats, send it out for e-signature, maybe carry forward a document to review and approval process, send it out to a content manager or merge it with other documents. And now with SENDSECURE, easily automate secure file exchange directly from Xpertdoc.
All right. Just want to do a validation. Can you hear me okay out there, Eric, and see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. So at this point in time, we want to transition over. Thanks for that upfront overview of the Xpertdoc solution. Now, at this point in time, I wanted to share with you a little bit about XMedius. We're a partner with Xpertdoc, and in particular with our secure file exchange platform that integrates with the Xpertdoc CCM solution. Now, a little bit about our background. We've been in the secure file exchange business for the past 20 years. Primarily, we've been known in the industry for our fax over IP software solution, and most recently our product called SENDSECURE, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. My name is Phil Vera, and my background, I've spent the last 20 years in and around the document technologies industries with companies such as Xerox Corporation, my own consulting practice, as well as for the past 5-6 years with XMedius. And now I support our line of business for our SENDSECURE product line. Now, what's really important today is that you get what you want out of this particular webinar. So I highly encourage, if there's something you want to learn today, please utilize the chat feature. You can send a message to the organizer or panelist option. You'll notice to the right there is a chat option. So please do not hesitate to type any questions, and our moderator today is going to help us, and we'll make sure that we answer all those questions by the end of our webinar today. Now, to start off with, what I thought I'd share with you is some of the key challenges that we most often see in the secure file exchange business. And it kind of falls into 4 categories. When we're talking to clients like yourselves out there in various vertical markets, anywhere from insurance to healthcare to legal and other manufacturers out there that utilize our service, the first thing is that there's some limitations as it relates to file size. You might have been in a situation where you have a very large file and you have to send it to someone, and then you're kind of stuck because you get that email that pops back and says the file is too large to send via email. So now if your organization doesn't have any sort of solution in place, what happens is folks tend to go out to free resources like a public Dropbox or Google Drive, and when that occurs, then all of a sudden you've put your companies at risk because of this lack of security in those types of solutions. So file sizes being too large is the number one area that folks are looking to utilize a solution like SENDSECURE, which is what we're going to show you and talk to you about today. The second thing is the complexities. When you're utilizing a solution and you need to exchange information with someone, it's got to be easy to use. So with the Xpertdoc solution, our SENDSECURE platform is fully integrated with a simple pop-down menu. You can use one of the omni-channels and select, SENDSECURE as an option, and it'll automatically send a secure file to the intended recipient. So one of the nice things about SENDSECURE is that there is, and actually I believe there was a question that popped up about how people receive. Now, one of the things is that from a recipient's point of view, if you got to register for something or create a password or some sort of login as a recipient, the adoption rates get very low, and lots of questions arise because recipients sometimes are not as technically savvy, and if they've got to go and register with a lot of sites and stuff, the adoption rate and complexities of receiving documents, it creates some challenges. With SENDSECURE, there's nothing to register for, there's nothing to, log on to and that sort of thing. The only thing that we require is a one-time authentication by the recipient, and they can do that via a PIN code that can be received either via email, an SMS, or a phone message. So everyone is used to that in the banking world, logging into your bank sites and you receive that PIN code. We utilize that same technology to authenticate users when they receive a message out of Xpertdoc using SENDSECURE. The next area is lack of security. A A lot of times today, folks are utilizing email and not even thinking about it, and they're sending personal identifiable information via those avenues, and it causes great concern for organizations because the number one vector for hackers is email. So it's the easiest way to penetrate an organization. It's the easiest way to have a route into the organization to be able to, basically hack the systems, cause, situations where there's ransomware and other, personal identifiable information or, information of the company is trying to be infiltrated by hackers. So we need to make sure that you've got a fully encrypted solution from end to end. Our solution is, and I'll be sharing a couple of key features that we utilize from an encryption perspective and from a key management server perspective. And then last but not least, we often hear from our customers is that they face a lot of compliance and regulations. So it can be anything from the healthcare organizations with HIPAA, really any company dealing with personal health information or personal identifiable information as well. We've got a fiduciary responsibility as companies to keep that information private, or else you risk hefty fines and being out of compliance in those areas. So you need to make sure that you have a solution that will help you keep in compliance. And we offer that with SENDSECURE. So how do we help and we do that? Well, our solution, we have a cloud-based solution as well as we're launching an on-prem solution as well in July. And but from our cloud perspective, our cloud platform is ISO 27001 certified and compliant. We keep folks in compliant with HIPAA regulations. We've got a number of robust and critical security features that are built right into the solution, which I'll share a few of those with you today. And really, it's just inherently intuitive and very simple to use. And we're going to actually show you a demo right out of the Xpertdoc solution today. Now, I just paused just for a moment. If there are any questions out there, please, once again, do not hesitate to type them into the chat window to our organizers, and we'll be glad to answer those for you. What I'd like to start off with first is before we actually jump into a live demo, I thought I'd give you a kind of a workflow example to show you what is happening when you send a secure message using SENDSECURE. Picture this, that on the front end you've got your Xpertdoc implementation and a opportunity to select a drop down. And say, for example, you're an insurance provider and you've got a new client and you've got a contract that you want them to sign. That contract may contain personal identifiable information, so you don't want to send it via email for compliance purposes. So you've got that document. First thing that happens is that all employees, when they log on to their devices, they're authenticating and you know who they are and that they're on your email systems and they're on their computers, on your network, et cetera, et cetera. So the only thing that is required is that there is an intended recipient with an email address. And that is at a bare minimum the requirement to send a SENDSECURE message. That message can be any sort of document, and it could either be sent via your Xpertdoc platform, or when you sign up for the service, you'll have access to our portal as well, and you can send from either one of those platforms. That document is uploaded into what we describe as a virtual safe box. It is encrypted both in transit. It's using TLS 1.2 in transit, and then when the files are at rest in this safe box, it's using AES 256 encryption. What happens is, from a recipient's point of view, they receive a link by email. okay? That is the only thing that email is providing, is that link. And when they receive that link, there will be a URL that they click. At this point in time, they will enter that one-time two-factor authentication code. And like I said, you know, they can receive this either via an email, follow-up email, an SMS, or via a telephone call. When they enter that code, let's just say it's a 4-digit PIN code, then what happens is now the recipient, the customer in this case, has access to this virtual safe box. They can now download the confidential information, and a lot can go on at this point in time. Let's just say it was a contract, like in this case, and they had to sign it. They can upload that document to the safe box, and then you as the insurance provider will get a notification that something is in the safe box, and you are now able to download that signed document that came from the customer. At this point in time, there is collaboration that can happen back and forth. They can, you know, message back and forth. They can send documents and files. It can be any type of file, from a document to a video file to an audio file. Anything can be exchanged in this secure safe box. But let's just say that our transaction is over, and now we want to close the safe box. Well, you'll notice what happened is when that safe box closes, and that could be on a predefined retention policy, meaning that your safe box could be programmed to close in, say, 30 days, 90 days. You decide when you set up your system what you want that to be. You can actually close the safe box early if your transaction is completed and you don't want any sort of file sitting in any sort of repository. And what we do is then we delete all those files. And we do that by design, okay? Because we don't want files to be sitting in repositories like a, you know, like a public Dropbox or a Google Drive, because sometimes people forget, and then those files sit there forever. And then, you know, you put your companies at risk. So that information now is deleted. But at that point in time, a signed audit report is now generated. So you as an organization will get a PDF automatically generated that describes and shows all of the event details that occurred in that file exchange. So if you're ever audited and you have to prove a certain file has been exchanged, you will have that signed audit report ready to go. All right, let me share I want to share a few features that are out there. When you're talking about secure file exchange, you know, a term that is used loosely out there is encryption. And one of the things that's really important to know about encryption technology is that it is nearly impossible to break like for example, a 256 encryption from an AES 256 encryption. It would take, I mean, literally all the resources in the world. I think they estimate, you know, the GDP of the entire world to crack that code, and resources and time to be able to crack that. So hackers are not looking to use brute force to crack the encryption code. What they're looking to do when you hear about hackers infiltrating organizations is they know that it's easier to get to the encryption keys, because if you have the encryption key, then you can decrypt the data. Now, one of the things that we as an organization developed is a feature called double encryption. Okay, so that's what you see right here. Now, with all types of encryption technology, there is a key management server, and in our case as well, XMedius has a key management server, and every single safe box that we create has its own encryption key. Now this is different than most of the companies out there. They'll have one encryption key for the entire file system that they have. So if someone compromised and got that encryption key, then all of their files would be compromised. If someone were to go through the efforts to try to compromise and get our encryption key, best case scenario is they can open up one file because we use a new encryption key on every file exchange that occurs. So what we developed, if someone needs that even extra security, is double encryption. There is actually one key that comes from our key management server. Then there is a second key that is sent to the end user recipient. And by design, the Xpertdoc system and our system, we do not track that second key. We send it, but we have no access to it. Our administrators have no access to it. Only the end user recipient has access to it. So by design, you need both of those keys in order to create a third key, which is a secret key, and now you can decrypt the data, okay? So even if someone were to come to, get all of our servers and so forth, they would not be able to decrypt the data if double encryption was enabled without both the keys, and one of them resides only with the end user customer. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our next slide. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, we talked earlier about our ephemeral safe-box, and ephemeral means that it's intended to have a very short life cycle, and everything that when that safe-box closes, all the information is deleted. We talked earlier about our two-factor authentication. So in a lot of systems that are out there, different types of encrypted email solutions or other file exchange platforms, they require the recipient to register. And when you register, then you have to create a password, remember a password. There has to be an acceptance by the sender of the recipients before any sort of exchanges occur. What we did is we found out when we developed our product that decreases the adoption rate of folks, okay? So what we did is we designed this so that there's no registration, no passwords, anything like that, but we do require this two-factor authentication so that we can then know that it's the intended recipient, and we start doing event tracking as soon as that authentication code is entered. We know the IP address of the device, and we track everything, all the exchanges, and that's in our signed audit report. The other thing is having accurate tracking of downloads. With a lot of solutions that are out there today, they track at the application layer. We track at the transport layer. Now, what does that mean in plain English? What it means is that if someone is tracking at the application layer and say that they started downloading a document and they lost internet connection halfway between the download, well, there would be a false message that would come back to the sender to say that that information had been downloaded, when in fact only half of it got downloaded and it didn't fully download. When you track at the transport layer, we utilize a feature called byte track, and we developed this technology so that we know to the byte level that a document has been fully downloaded or partially downloaded. Because we produce a signed audit record, we have to provide with 100% accuracy of the downloads of particular files. So that's what we utilize is byte track to be able to do that. And last but not least is you've got a couple of different ways in order, when you sign up for our solution through Xpertdoc, you can send out of their platform. with a simple drop down, and we'll show you that today. But also there is an Outlook plugin that you can utilize as well. So if you're working within Outlook, you can click a new message, and this message is actually then going through the SendSecure platform and not through your email server. All right, so at this point in time, we're going to actually give you a demonstration and have you take a look at it. So
I'm going to share my screen. Okay, does everyone see Dynamics 365?
I think so.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to walk through in this demonstration is, what does it look like from a business user's perspective when they trigger a document? What are the different types of actions that you could take once a document has been created? And really what it looks like from a SendSecure perspective, what's the process from a business user and from a customer. So we're looking at an out-of-the-box Dynamics 365. I'm in a quote entity. Let's say I'm a sales director. My role is to get as many proposals out. So I'm filling out this quote entity. What Xpertdoc does is expose this document output section, really leveraging our smart form technology, which I mentioned earlier. So a web deployed can be embedded in an application like Dynamics here, really just exposing the different functionality that a company can give their sales director and the different ways that they can interact with templates and or different core systems. So what we're doing here is we're giving the user the ability to select this modern blue quote. We could select an industry. What will happen here is this will affect the images that show up on that quote. And let's put a first name, last name, and an email. And let's go ahead and select SendSecure. So what's happening here is we're really producing the document based on information within the quote, packaging it for SendSecure, and sending it out securely. Now I'm going to open up. So as you notice here, I sent it to an eric.xt demo email, which I have opened up here. And as a customer, now this is what I see, and I've received that email. Let's open it up. And here's that URL that Phil was talking about as the first point of authentication. Now I could choose to receive that second authentication point by email. Let's go back to my inbox here. And I receive a second email with the four-digit PIN 2446 and verify. So now I've been verified, and now we're looking at the Safe-Box. From a customer perspective, now I could access this Safe-Box for 30 days and reply and download, modify the document and re-upload. And so let's go ahead and say hi. And very intuitive, easy to use. Looks like something you do every day, text messages or any online messaging system. And if I were to go to the sender's inbox, so now I'm in my Outlook, I see that my recipient or my customer has accessed the Safe-Box and has responded to me. And this could go back and forth for as long as the Safe-Box is open. The document could be exchanged on multiple occasions. You could add additional documents, and it's really an exchange. And go on and on with updates to the document. Like I said, additional assets up to 5 gigs. I could include, as the sender, more participants if needed. Extend the time that the Safe-Box can be open. So imagine, high-res medical records or confidential documents, applications or forms containing sensitive or financial information, personal information like social security or social insurance numbers. All of this can be shared in confidence. Now, I could go ahead and close this early. And as Phil was mentioning before, you can have full details on what's going on with that Safe-Box. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. We could see the exchange in interactions. We could see what's been downloaded. We could see each and every activity that happened to that Safe-Box. So if something's been attached, the customer authenticating themselves, the exchange in messaging, etc. So XMedius is an easy-to-use, secure file transfer. Very easy, as Phil mentioned. You receive an email, authenticate yourself, nothing to download. And from an Xpertdoc perspective, if we go back into CRM, fully integrated, it's one of our integration points and connectors that comes out of the box. And as I mentioned earlier, these could be stacked, right? So depending on your business's requirements, maybe they don't have a pull down for options here. Maybe you automatically wanted to go to SendSecure, or a combination of things like PDF, email, a supervisor, send to a customer via SendSecure, and then send a copy of it to your SharePoint or in notes within the entity. Mentioning notes, we'll put tracking information that something did go out to SendSecure through this entity. So let me just go back to the presentation.
Yeah, so what you're looking at right here, and that's fine, and you can just help me click through that, just to kind of summarize some of the key competitive advantages with the solution when we compare it to the marketplace and other applications. The first thing is simplicity. That is what is basically going to, allow you to not have to register anything, download anything from a recipient's point of view. The only thing they need to do is authenticate themselves with that one-time PIN code, as Eric showed you in the demonstration. The next thing is the availability. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of device you're on, any device, anywhere, anytime. You have access to a web browser. You have access to receiving secure messages, fully encrypted from end to end. Flexibility, there is no file type limitation. It can be any sort of file, from a data to an audio to a video. 5 gigabytes is our current file size, but we're actually in July launching a capability to actually have 5 terabytes. So virtually there's no file size limitation. I doubt that anyone has is going to be transmitting terabyte files. From a collaboration perspective, a lot of organizations, they want that two-way messaging back and forth. If they're working on a particular project, or or sharing, exchanging information back and forth, you have that capability. Both from it can either be fully encrypted, or in this case where we were showing you, it wasn't encrypted, the actual message, so that it showed up in the PDF audit report. But if you don't want it to show up, the messages, the files are automatically encrypted, but the messages, you can encrypt those as well. And that wouldn't show up in the detailed report. And then from a compliancy perspective, we timestamp and we have a proof of delivery with our audit record. We've been in the business of providing this type of proof in the fax business for many, many years now. So we're very familiar with what is required from a legal perspective to be in compliance. So at the end of the day, I mean, you have that ability to transfer large files. You'll increase the adoption rate of working with your clients in a protected manner, and your files will absolutely be encrypted from end to end, and it'll keep you in compliance. So that will minimize you know, having any violations or receiving any costly fines, or most importantly, keep from your folks experiencing a data breach within the organization. I'll just share one tip with you. I was just at about a month ago at a Secure 360 conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and there was a lady, Stacy Stevens. She was from the FBI, and she was actually one of the chief folks in charge of the nationwide cybersecurity efforts in communications with corporations, giving feedback to the FBI when data breaches occur. And one of the slides that she put up there was that 80% of the top 100 companies in 2016 got hacked. So it doesn't, you think that you got all these security measures in place, large companies, anyone is vulnerable to that. And it's solutions like what you're seeing today, taking the precautions, is what Stacy was saying, in solutions like SendSecure, which will minimize that risk, because hackers are looking for the easy way in, like emails and unprotected emails and unprotected solutions. But with solutions like SendSecure, they don't want to mess with that because it's just too difficult. They'll move on to the easier infiltration points, and this is too complex for them to be able to unencrypt the data and so forth. So at this point in time, we'd like to open it up to questions. And I know our moderator was monitoring any of the chat questions in there. So if there are any questions, now would be the time to we can unmute the folks, or they can chat them in.
So we do have one question that has come through. Is the CRM integration only one way?
Great question. You want to handle that, Eric?
Yeah, no problem. So from our Xpertdoc connector perspective, we allow for bidirectional workflows. So from document creation to pushing that out through the XMediusSENDSECURE platform. There is possibility to bring it back into CRM or push it to any other system for your downstream workflows. So if that's maybe pushing it to SharePoint or triggering other CRM workflows, those are all possibilities.
And from a SENDSECURE perspective, you notice that when Eric went into the to check the sending and replying and so forth, he actually went into our platform. So that was the SENDSECURE platform, and you'll notice that a recipient of the message, which he demonstrated today, can reply back. So once they authenticate themselves, now you have two-way communication back and forth. They can send you stuff, you'll get notifications in your email, or when they send messages back to you as well. And then there's another feature that we are enabling here in July. We're launching a feature called Secure Link. And secure links are basically a way that you could actually put, say, a link on your website or in your email signature, and that'll enable folks to send you secure messages even with you not generating the workflow. So you want your clients to send you secure information, they click that link, it automatically generates a workflow for them to authenticate themselves, and then now a safe box opens just like in the Exchange today, and they can select browse and upload documents and send you secure messages without you even knowing. So that's a feature that will be enabled here in July. Great question.
Another question that's come through: if I am a CCM user already, how easy is it to take advantage of the XMedius solution?
Great. So basically, that's something that we're offering now out of the box of the Xpertdoc solution. So, if you'd like to take advantage of this this new offering, let us know, and we could talk about what are your business requirements around this and how we could help bring that into your organization.
And one last question for Phil. Compared to encrypted email solutions, how does XMedius, or what are the benefits of SendSecure versus encrypted email solutions?
Yeah, great question. So a lot of folks have encrypted email solutions. Now, with an encrypted email solution, a couple of things. Number one is it's still email. It's still going through your email exchange servers or Gmail or whatever kind of email solution that you have. Yes, the messages are encrypted, but you have now still the file size limitations. In most email servers, administrators will not set their email servers for more than probably 35 megs. So you have a file size limitation again. And then secondly is it's still email, so that's the infiltration point that hackers are trying to infiltrate. And ours is actually not going through email, it's going through the SendSecure servers that are more protected than your email servers. So great question on that.
And that was the last one. So with that, we wish you a great afternoon. Thank you again for taking the time to join. And if you do have any questions about either Xpertdoc or XMedius, please contact Phil or Eric, and their information is on the screen.
I want to take a moment just to thank Phil and the XMedius team for making this possible. We continue to look to extend what you could do with our solution, and thanks to Phil and the team, we're doing just that and offering something more that our customers can do.
Absolutely.
Directly out of Xpertdoc.
We appreciate that, and what we're doing as follow-up with Eric is we'll support Eric and the team there. So just please reach out to Eric, and we can set up one-on-one additional, more in-depth demonstrations for any clients and tailor it to their needs.
Exactly.
Follow-up. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.